pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. Yeah. All light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Welcome to your Super Soul Star Sunday, everyone. I want to do a sound check to make sure that you can hear me. Minister Dana, can you hear me? I am your host, LaTanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Passion, and I am here to hold space for you. We have women that are in this space that are growing forth in Goddess, and we come together every Sunday, and we've been doing this with a core group who are that they have made this space their own. And so we invite each and every one of you who are brand new to make this space your own and to open to new ways of accessing your womb consciousness, of accessing your communication with the divine, of accessing yourself, of staying on the path of growing forth, of staying on the journey with other women who are on the journey with you, where you do not have to edit and you do not have to just receive and take in information, but you can also process that information each and every Sunday here on the call and also after the call. And so I envision an active community of women who are nurturing themselves, therefore nurturing their families and growing their legacies. I just took Dana off mute. Can you hear me? I want to do a test.
Yes, can you hear me? I hear you loud and clear.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So everyone right now except for our illustrious co-host and my Minister Dana Beasley and myself, you all will be our co-hosts in just a moment. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you. I am so honored for those of you who chose to come into this space this morning. You all, I got to open this space before we bring on our guests. I may have closed everything out, and I think that I did. I found the most blessed, passage from one of my favorite authors that really just summed up the beauty of motherhood. And I had saved it and put it off to the side for you. And don't you know that it's not here as it normally would be. But that's okay, because I want to just acknowledge that each and every one of you are mothers.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to hear that. Each and every one of you are mothers. Period. You say, well, how do you say that? So glad you asked. You are a primordial woman. I know that I call you supernatural woman. I know that I talk about your cosmic journey. But the melanated woman, and if you are one of our sisters listening in, this is one of the things that the earth is going to have to honor. The melanated woman plays a very specific role in the entire cosmos. And you must know that your genealogy of origin, it predates any humans. That you are the sun, the moon, and the stars. And the way that you access this information, this DNA, this cosmic DNA, is through your womb, one layer at a time of removing your human limits. You birth more than human children. Every day that a woman has a vision that she brings into fruition, she is birthing. Every time you lay down with your lover and he has a vision and you co-create with him or her, but mainly with the yang, the opposite, is you are co-creating together. We are not limited to the flesh. Labor and delivery is the truth of every woman that's on earth. Especially when we choose to birth ourselves. And so I say this because I want each and every one of you to walk in the reverence of who you are, not because of this holiday, but because of this holiday, energetically, some people fall into a different frame of mind and maybe even get sad because you're focused on only your mother who may not be here. You're focused on, when you get a child, you'll celebrate yourself. And so I invite each and every one of you to begin to celebrate now. All right? So we are going to bring on our sister. If I find the quote again, I will share it. I just thought that it would set the stage for we got a sense we had our song already. Maybe we'll just let that. But I'm so honored to have my sister who is calling in all the way from the West Coast and who is one of those women who, upon meeting her, we started to synchronize. We started sharing authentically. We started to just be transparent. And lo and behold, here I have another Sister Butterfly, a freedom. I call us cosmic freedom riders. Those of us who are working the Underground Railroad like Harriet Tubman to set women free, especially from the bonds of religious oppression and spiritual bondage that really isn't of spirit. That's how, and I love rolling like that because I believe that spirit assigns me my sisters, and so she's one of them. And Kathy says that her mission is to write stories, speak messages, and teach principles that empower women and girls to live in the fierceness of truth and freedom. Her bio is more of her bio is posted on our Super Soul Sister Sunday. At the end of this, I would love for you to go give her some love or to celebrate her in Good Girls Gone Goddess. And her vision is a world where women and girls can live in the fierceness of truth and freedom in every area of their lives. And I have to say that it's also a double honor to have Coach Kathy, who is a minister, now a new author. I posted her book in the group, saying that we wanted to support her. And I'm intentionally setting this up this way because the fact that she's here ought to be a testimonial for some of you all who have so many excuses. Yeah, who have visions that you still are not trying, but you think you're trying to bring to pass, who have pains, who have traumas, and you let it take you down. Well, the reason why it's so perfect that the divine set it up that she would be available is on this day, Coach Kathy could be licking her wounds. She could be not engaging, but she chose to come and minister because she has a story as a mother who lost her son. And she just recently wrote a book called, I believe I got this right, Two Mothers Raising Sons, How to Love Them to Life Instead of to Death. I just had to pause so you could digest that, how to love them to life instead of to death. And then I heard Spirit say, and her work is perfect in this space because we're teaching our women here how to love yourself to life so that you won't die while trying to love your children. So that's a great segue to bring on my sister, my reverend sister, Coach Kathy McCoy, all the way live from Seattle, Washington. The space is yours, my sister. What do you have for us today?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Perfect.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm excited to be in this space, to be here investing in you through my pain, through my hurt, and standing up, still claiming and believing that I am a mother. And so I'm grateful for your message already this morning. It's already got me inspired to say exactly what the divine would have me to say. If I had a topic for what I want to speak about briefly, it is saying yes to the divine assignment of mother. I do believe that we are all mothers, exactly what we heard earlier from my dear sister, that we are all mothers, whether we are birthing children, whether we are birthing our dreams and visions, whether we are co-creating, whether we are step-parents, whether we are aunties, that there is in our blackness, in who we are as black women, as women of color, that we are the mothers, and that when we accept the call, oftentimes we go into motherhood because it was a mistake, it was an accident, that's what we thought. But I want to encourage us today that it is a divine assignment, that it is really us as women partnering with the divine to nurture, train up, and raise the children and the dreams that were given to us divinely. And often what I'm seeing in the work that I do with women around motherhood is that we are not yet submitting and surrendering to the assignment. And what a great assignment. And today I just particularly want to, because talk to those mothers with sons, and because that is my heart, to really help mothers raising sons understand the divine assignment in raising sons. We have to first understand that sons are a tribe, are a nation, understanding that they are the ones that since the beginning of time, if you go back even into the Bible, into Scripture, that have been attacked from the beginning. Our sons have been on the assault from the powers that be have been trying to take them out. You go back to Moses, who was spared when they were calling out for all Hebrew boys to be killed. He was spared and put in a basket, and then by the blessings of God being able to be raised by his mother. You see Esther, Queen Esther, a mother who put her life on the risk for her own people to protect the boys that were going to get killed. Then we have the Passover, where we see if you put the blood on the door, the death angel would pass over the house and the boys would be spared. And I want to just talk to us today about we being the blood on the door that would protect our boys. Our boys are being still attacked and still killed, and we know everything that's going on in our society. But as mothers, I want us to know that we have the power as divine mothers to create, nurture, and transform our boys into safe, secure, stable, and successful men. But it requires us, one, to say yes to the assignment, to not just do it. It's not by happenstance. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident that God, the divine, thought that you should be a mother and a mother to a child. And so when we, and this doesn't change for girls, but there's something in particular about mothers and their boys. And what I know is from when I was broken and when I was hurt, I damaged my sons, because our sons get the nurturing and they get love and they understand emotions through their mothers. And if we are in a place as mothers where we are not doing our divine healing work, we are not letting go of our past, where we're operating in unforgiveness, and we are like what my story is, that my son was to fill the love voids I had for men. So I had already, while my child was in my womb, I had already began to fantasize about how he would fill the voids that men had left in my life, including my father, including boyfriends, and those who I thought would be the man that would take care of me, that would validate me as a woman. My son was set up to do that in my brokenness, even in my womb. And so the calling is so high for us as mothers to do that sacred work, to heal, to come out of low self-esteem and lacking self-love and being emotionally stunted because we are hurt by the men who have abandoned us, who have rejected us, who we have perceived have not loved us. And if we are not careful when we are raising our boys, we will raise them up to love us, and we will make it all about us and not about them. And the divine assignment for us for that time that we have our boys is to mold them and train them into being these men that we can then pass on to another woman to marry. And what I say often to mothers who are raising sons, we don't get to complain about men because we are the mothers of them. And if we have not raised them up, now I want to be clear here. I'm not negating the fact that they need men and they need their fathers, but they also need a mother, because the mother is the one who is teaching them how to love, how to receive love, how to communicate their emotions. And I don't think we understand how emotional our boys are. And often when we are not healed and we are not whole and we are using them to fill our love voids, what we do is protect them. We protect them from their own emotions. We don't allow them to cry. We don't allow them to feel. We don't allow them to be angry, because we are protecting them, and we don't allow them even to reason and to deal with conflict. And it has to do with our own level of healing within ourselves. So it is important. If you don't get anything, is one, we have to say yes to the assignment. We have to see it as an assignment. We have to see it as something, whether it's our nephews, whether it's the neighbor boy, whether it's, who you gave birth to, a stepchild, whether it is, someone that goes to school with your child. I believe that where I am today is accepting the assignment that I still am a mother, that I still have a call to train up and raise children, even though they're not mine and did not come out of my womb. And it's really seeing, this is a high place calling. It's not a place where we get to, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I thought I heard. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is a divine calling, but the calling that you have to say yes to today is healing, is really going to do the work. And I'm glad that you're here in this space, because I'm sure there's a lot of healing going on in this space. And it's really understanding that it's not about you. And what I had to learn is I was making my son all about me. I was dressing him like the man that I desired. I was molding him into the man that I desired for myself in my broken self, which was not good, because what I was doing was creating a monster. I was creating a man who was dependent on a woman for money, for items, for things. He was learning to disrespect women because I wasn't respecting myself. And so the calling is for this high-level work, and we operate in a place of high-level intention, loving ourselves. That's what we have to say yes to, that I will do the work so that I don't infect those who I influence, those who I lead. And when we are mothers who are unhealed, guess what? We are essentially infecting our children with our faulty belief systems, our lack of self-love, our low self-esteem, our lack of self-confidence. That is passing on to our children. And what I said earlier about our sons, that our sons are a tribe. And so, yes, there has been an attack to basically genocide on our black boys to get rid of them because they are a tribe. And when we think about that, a son equaling a nation, a son equaling a tribe, means we are then a mother of a nation, mother of nations, mother of tribes. And we have to ask ourselves, what legacy as a mother do we want to leave, knowing that our mothering will show up in generations and generations and generations. And we see that in our family that we're taking on. When I grew up, I took on how my grandmother raised her children, because that was my mother. And my mother was raising children like her grandmother, and so on and so on. And so what is the legacy as a divine mother that we want to leave for tribes and for nations and for generations? Because our mothering will show up in generations when we're long gone from this body. Our mothering will still show up. That's what makes it so divine. And that's why it's important, it's imperative, it is a must that we do the work to heal and accept the calling to heal. I believe it is a divine calling to come into a place where we accept our power of who we are as women, as mothers, and understanding that in order to operate in this high level, we can't hold on to our past. We got to let go of some stuff. We got to forgive some people, forgive ourselves. And it's really one of the things that I could not do as a mother when my son was starting to act up and it didn't turn out the way I had hoped for. My fantasy was turning into a nightmare because I was so broken. I wouldn't even receive feedback from other women, and that's another place of healing as a mother. It takes a village. It really does. That is more than just, a proverb, something we say. It truly takes a village. And in order to allow the village in and to receive from the village, that requires us to be able to communicate and to connect with other women and with other men and with other people that would help us raise up and train up this assignment that we have been given. And it is important today that first and foremost we just say, yes, it is a divine assignment. Yes, that I was created to be a mother in some way or form or fashion, and that I will commit to doing the work so that when we only have these young babies and boys and things in our life for a brief moment, and we want that moment to count. We want them to be the men that we can pass on happily on to another woman, to the world. And it requires us just simply to look within and look at the way we're parenting. Are we parenting out of old paradigms that came from generation to generation that did not work? Are we parenting from our brokenness? Are we parenting from a place where we are looking to receive more than to give? Are parenting from a place to ensure? For me, it was I wanted to ensure that my son would love me. So I didn't know how to say no to my son. I didn't have healthy boundaries. I said yes to everything because my ultimate goal in my brokenness was that my son would care for me, that he would make me the queen. So I had to embrace I was already the queen. I was already the mother. He could not give that to me. And that was out of a brokenness place. That was out of a desire of lack, of saying I didn't have enough male energy in my life. I wanted more male energy. And so I used my son to be the answer to that. And I see it over and over. So today I would say, please say yes to the assignment, whether you're mothering children, whether you're mothering a vision, whatever you are mothering, understanding that it is a divine assignment which requires we partner with the divine in a whole healed place, and we do the work to be free of the rejection and the abandonment and what's left over, and that is how we say yes. And if we don't, we as mothers, we run the risk of infecting those we love, infecting our children, and then them not becoming to their full potential. And I believe it's an honor to raise up a son to their full potential so that they can then become the nation that they were indeed created for. I thank you for this space and this time to share that with you.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. That you got in there and you got out of there, but we ain't done with you yet, Coach. We believe in stimulating the oil of one another and having a Martha and Mary, actually not Elizabeth and Mary type of relationship where we feel our own baby jump when someone is speaking. And so before you go, I wanted you to lean in a little bit more. I know you talked about sons, but of course I know you have the preview of just even our daughters. Can you share a little, just a little bit on the daughters and how it may show up when it comes to making our son our men? You oh my God.
Yes. So how it makes our son our man is because, and from just me and what I know from myself is that he was my man. He was, and I meant that in that I wanted him to caress me and treat me like a man that I desired, the fantasy man that I thought about as a child that I never got from my father. I wanted him to father me. I wanted him to love me. I wanted him to caress me. I wanted him to he slept in my bed for, years, even with my husband. And that was one of the I wanted him to be able to come in my bedroom. I created no boundaries for him. So he had access to all of me, not only the physical me, my stuff, but even internally he had access to my whole heart, and that I would turn my eye to bad behavior because I loved him. I would defend him because I loved him. Like he was everything. This young boy was my everything. I dressed him like the man I wanted him. I got his hair cut like the man I wanted to. We spoke to each other like we were boyfriend and girlfriend. There was no respect that I was his mother. I was an adult and he was a child. We were on the same level because I wanted that, and I yearned for that male energy to treat me like I was a queen, like I was special. And so I had that from the mothering role where he treated me like that queen, but he also spoke to me like his girl, where he would ask me for stuff, and if I said no, he would rub on my arm. Please, Mom, like a man would do for you, and almost romantically. And so what happened is twofold about the girls. One is I was raised by a mother who was broken, and so for me, I learned how not to respect men because my mom was broken around men, and so what I saw in how she raised her daughters was that we were going to be independent. We weren't going to need a man. We weren't those sort of things. And so I went into a relationship with my husband saying, I don't need you. You're here, but, I'm in control. You're just here, basically. And so then what happened was I didn't allow him to help me raise my son because this is my son. This isn't your son. And I pushed him away, and I pushed his help away because I did not respect men. I did not, and I was creating my own little monster in my son. It's what I see often.
Wow. Ooh, I can't wait to work with you on this one. This right here is amazing. We got to do some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what about, and then just really quickly with daughters, just what do you, because I know you are not just, you have a message for sons, but I know there's an old saying the elders have, we raise our daughters, spoil our sons. Raise our daughters and spoil our son. In other words, we make the girls responsible. We teach them how to run a household. We teach them how to not get pregnant. We tell them what they better not do, and we lay down the law for our girls. We raise them, but we spoil our sons. And that's where my work comes in, because now we have women who are walking around in resentment of their womanhood because the way they got it from their mother is a burden. Come on now. Some of us and then it's not safe all the time for a woman to talk about her strained relationship with her mother because society says, oh, that's just your mama now. That's your mama. Don't you say that. And you have women who don't have no voice about how they have been wounded, and they hold the mother wound into sometimes their grave, or they pass it on from wound to wound. Do you see the same?
Yes, I do. And actually that's exactly what I went through when writing my book. I did not want to talk about my mother. And what I was ashamed, I was embarrassed, I was worried that my mother would be upset with me, but it was my truth. And it was where I came from. And what happens is for our girls, you said it exactly, is we resent. That was one of the main reasons why I didn't want to work anymore. I've been working my whole life. My mom taught me to work at such a young age, and I started to resent working. I started to resent responsibility. It's all I've ever known was to pay bills. And there were five of us, and there was, out of that 5, there were 4 girls and a boy. So that ran true in our household, that my mom raised us, but spoiled and loved the hell out of my brother. And so we resented men as a result, that we thought men didn't do anything, that men, that we were supposed to serve men, and that men didn't have any responsibility. And so we also learned that. And so then we don't stand in our full power as a woman to be who we are, strong and powerfully, and without the hatred for a man, and understanding that we have power to transform and change men. And I don't think we knew that growing up. And I see for our young daughters is that cycle continues and continues. And I believe one of the things that I know that's been playing in history forever is that when they took fathers from families, they created broken women who would always long for this long lost man, and it's been set up like that for us to even mother from a hurt place our boys, because we saw men go from the mother from the way back when, and then the daughter would say, okay, I feel abandoned by my father, and then she would have a son, and then she would treat him like her man. And so this to me has been playing out in history forever, from when men were taken from homes back in slavery, and our girls have been taught to be these independent. In my house, it looked like we did all the work. And so I had a lot of work in my marriage. Oh, my God. I had a lot of work in my marriage to come out of that, to receive love from my husband, which I truly desired, which was the strangest thing.
Yes, indeed. Ooh, this is good. I know that the ladies are being blessed. This is so good. This is so good. Just you taking us right back to our healing, the healing that's required, and that's exactly the space that we are in here in Super Soul Star Sunday. So, Reverend Sister, we're going to open up the line so that we can, maybe your belly can jump. So I'm going to open up the lines for each and every one of you ladies so that if there was something that you heard where your belly jumped on this Mother's Day, and if there was something that was lit up on the inside of you, this is the time for you to come and co-host this circle with us, because your voice does matter. And so I'm unmuted all of the lines, or at least I'm unmuting all of the lines. You can jump right on in right now and share something that you heard on this day. All right.
Good morning.
Hi, Coach.
Hi,
good morning.
And our special guest, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. However, this is Kiana.
Minister Kathy.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Minister Kathy, Reverend Kathy.
Minister Kathy, Reverend Kathy, thank you so much. My belly jumped quite a few times. I am a daughter of 4 girls and 1 boy as well in our household. Was raised in that same exact way. We felt like my brother did not have to do anything and we had to do everything, and I never even looked at it as a mothering issue, or that it would be an issue even in my own life. I have 2 sons and 1 daughter. My first son, I was single. It was just me and him for 13 years. When I got engaged to my smallest 2 children, our relationship completely fell out. Like he would come and ask, can he sleep with me at 13? And I would tell him, I'm going to tell your friends you're still trying to sleep with your mom. We were super duper close, and I was raising him into be the man that was not there for me, which was his father, to be a better man. And I now I'm looking at it, I really see that could have put a lot of strain on him. And then my youngest son, it was an unexpected pregnancy, and I was contemplating.
How did your belly jump? How did your belly jump, Q? How did your belly jump?
Because I see that I did the same thing, and I didn't even know it. And just by it being me and him all that time, he was my man. Even with my youngest son, I caught myself saying, like, I don't even think I need a man. And so much affection and love here, outside of the other things as a woman that I need. But that's probably the only part that's missing is the intimacy. But the love that my son has, and he and I have together, like, I don't need a man for love. I got so much love within my baby right now. So I never even known or even looked at it in that aspect. So that was a huge belly jump for me.
Oh, wow. That means you got set free today.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, then.
Ashe.
All right, the next person. There was another person who was trying to get in at the same time. I love it when you all are ready and spilling over.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. This is Chandrika. I, too, had some belly jumps throughout Minister Kathy's assignment this morning. I'm so grateful that I joined. The divine assignment that I said yes to, when we have options to say no, and just to hear that I had said yes, that resonated with me. And just the fact that we are raising these tribes and nations for generation, and that I have the opportunity as a mother to show up in these tribes for decades. I'm just so grateful for that opportunity and that blessing, and that I'm able to see, even through your story, Minister Kathy, that I, too, mothered in a way, or still mothers in a way, that the love of my life that's not present, I translate that over to my oldest son. In every way, I want to make sure that he feels the love of that absent parent. Even though he has a father, I wanted to transcend that over. And so I know I, too, I don't know if there's a term of overly loving, but just putting an emphasis in that area, I'm able to see that through your story. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, that I'm actually doing a divine work, and so I'm able to see and recognize these things. And so I'm just so happy to be in this space this morning to hear from you. But my belly jumped so many times. But I just definitely wanted to share that with you guys this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Chandra. Good morning. Jump on in there, girl. I love y'all getting in the water. Come on.
Good morning, Reverend Kathy. I have I wouldn't say that I used my sons to become my man and my boyfriend, but I do, they're grown now, and so I guess my question is more to that. But what I will say, I did realize that I was broken. Even in my brokenness, I got my children and big brothers, big sisters, and things like that. And I did, but I didn't. I was trying to do my healing work, and that's why I'm grateful for LaTanya, because I didn't have the someone to really help mentor me. Now they're grown, and I watch my sons. They're just floundering around, and it's kind of hard as a parent because as I've grown, I've stepped back because I do understand that it's their journey, but at the same time, I'm aware. I try not to judge their dad. I mean, I was a mother that was trying to do different, and then I had a lot of relatives that was in the streets, smoking weed, doing all that stuff, and they introduced my sons to that. And I remember at some point when my children's father was just acting out, my youngest son, he told me later, he didn't tell me then, he went to stay with his godmother because he thought he was helping me out. He thought that it would help me because I had 5 other children. So, you know, I'm in a place now where I'm just trying to have boundaries around allowing them to still grow up and find their space. And yet it's still kind of hard sometimes because my oldest now stays with my youngest. And she called me the other day, and so she was talking to me about some things, and she kind of got upset with me because she said, you know, you don't think you're doing it, but what you're really doing is saying you won't only come live with you, but you want to live with me. And I had to step back. We decided to hang up the phone, and then we called back, and I apologize because that wasn't what I was trying to do. So I guess my question is, now that they're grown, how?
So I'm going to interrupt your question. Because we're going to do a workshop. This isn't a workshop. This is Super Soul Sister Sunday. And so we're not going to do question and answer today. This is you moving out of the intellect and into receiving or into depositing, okay? So that means that we have to do a special session with Coach Kathy. So we have to talk to you. Kathy, I have to have you possibly as a feature in the Rite the Passage program.
Okay.
How about that? Is that a great place to bring her, Tressa?
Yes, that's good. Thank you.
All right. Come on now, because, see, we're so used to looking for the answers outside. And first of all, let's digest what you already heard. Let's digest it rather than questioning it, because questioning is one of the masculine energies. Now, you can ask a question. Questions are good. But sometimes we live in the question. without knowing that when you are present, that the answer lives in the same room. So if we keep on hearing from the womb and we let the womb speak in here, you may get your answer. So go ahead. Someone else had something?
Good
Someone
morning. This is Minister Dana. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Reverend Kathy. One of the things that really made my belly jump was when you talked about how we protect our sons from their own emotions. And the one thing that really ran through my mind and touched my spirit was how, when we're raising our children, especially our boys, and we get ready to discipline them, and we do it in a very hurtful way, we tend to tell them, you better not cry. Don't you cry. Don't you shed a tear. Don't you say nothing. Just sit there. And we shut them down. And when you said that, it really made me realize how much of a contribution we are to even men not being in touch with their own emotions. Because then as an adult, when they do something and it's harmful or they feel emotion and try to cry and they cry in front of us as grown women, then we tend to look at them as, oh, you're weak. Oh, you just sensitive. Oh, I can't deal with no weak man. And so then, what does that say for the women, as far as, are we too hard? Are we so hard and have been raised so hard that our men are now, shunned in their own emotions? So I really thank you, because that pulled that up for me, and that's something that I now have to sit with, even with my own two boys. Being a mother of two boys, this is an eye opener. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to jump in, too, just to share. Thank you so much, Minister Dana, for saying that, something fell off of you today, too, as well. I'm now co-parenting with 3 boys.
Oh, wow.
And a part of the story that I will one day tell, but I'll preview a little bit here is I hope to be able to tell a victorious story of co-parenting with blended families, because that's exactly one of the things that I know I experienced is this whole thing with my children. They're my children. They're my children. And you don't, I'm not going to let my children come over there because of, in the beginning, whatever unfinished emotions and feelings that their mother had with, their father. And the boys were ripped out of our life for a period. And it almost killed my husband. And there's this belief out there that men don't want to father their children. And I won't get on that bandwagon, because I know too many men who want to be in their children's life, but there are so many hurt, bitter, and vengeful women who are infecting the village, because they think that the children are the bargaining chip. And somebody has me on speaker. Can you take me off speaker? Somebody on the line has me off speaker. It creates an echo. Thank you so much. And it actually caused a setback that we are trying to repair. And what I want to say is, I never understood until I sat in these shoes how we effeminize our boys as well. We effeminize our boys, wanting them to think and be like us, because many of us have never had a man in our house. And so we don't know how men interact with each other. And so we're quick to say, that's too rough. Don't say that like that to him. Don't do that like that to him. And we treat our boys as though they're the precious cargo. But we do the same thing to our daughters. We give them instructions. We give them commands. And there's a certain way that you interact with your daughter that you might not interact with your son. And we are feminizing a lot of these boys. And I see it in my own family. And the truth of the matter is, you can't say too much to a woman, because she'll shut you down, or even if she's in your own family, get mad at you, tell you off, curse you out, or limit your access to her child, even if it's your nephew, your godchild. And I know women who have their big-ass boys sleeping in the bed with them. I know women who are getting up in the morning. I know it's a mother's duty to cook breakfast, but the faithfulness in that I got to cook breakfast. But see, if it was your daughter, you would be teaching her how to cook breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen it. And so now being in these shoes as a blended family, there are times when my husband steps in or he plays with them or he says things to them in a certain way, and I have learned how to sit in my feminine because our masculine interrupts the other masculine doing what he's supposed to do. And I have learned how to let him sharpen them as iron because I used to jump in, even though I'm the bonus mom, and be like, why you got to say it like that? And he's like, the world is not going to say it the way mommy says it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning. I am learning as a woman how to be in the presence of my king and allow him to father them. And so that's where my belly is jumping. So, all right, somebody has some water background. I don't want to have to put everybody else on mute. It's real simple. Put your phone on mute, your physical phone on mute, and then we don't have to hear what you're doing. All righty. So is there anything else anyone else that had anything before we go into our prayer space? Anyone else? All right. So at this time, we are preparing ourselves for prayer. And today, in this special day energy, every day is Mother's Day, in my opinion. This is another commercialized holiday that honors women on one day. But as a tribal people, the mother was honored in community at all times. I want you to see, feel, and imagine, if you can close your eyes, that the grandmother or the eldest mother in the room at a gathering, she gave people permission to speak. She was served first. She was the one who made sure that she was comfortable. And some of us still do that, but many of us, our children don't have images of us taking care of our elders. At this time, I want you to see yourself being taken care of by a cosmic line of women who are on the other side, who are your angels who know your name. If you can begin to speak them into the space, and then, Reverend Kathy, I'll call on you to just pray us out of this space. All right? So go ahead, ladies. Begin speaking the names of your mothers.
Curly Rice.
Yes, Josie B. Taylor. Yes. Sarah Bolden.
Carrie Young.
Clark.
Ashe.
Sarah Miller.
Ashe.
Sarah Hardy. Roosevelt Day.
Ashe. Call them for.
Lionel Jones.
Yes.
Sadie Young.
Ashe. Reverend Kathy. You can just offer us a prayer.
Sure. Today we honor our divine mothers that came before us, that trained us up and raised us the best way they knew how. Today we accept this divine assignment of motherhood, whether it's mothering our dreams, co-creating dreams, our visions, if it's mothering children, our sons and our daughters, those that we birth and those that we come into contact with. We accept the assignment of a divine mother of a tribe, of a nation that will continue to see our mothering throughout. We commit today to the work to continue to heal, to be set free and delivered from old parenting paradigms that no longer work, that no longer are serving our sons and our daughters and even ourselves. We commit to be a tribe, to be a village, to be able to communicate with our other divine sister mothers for advice and for encouragement and for prayers to help us where we're stuck, where we're stagnant, and where we're continuing to go in circles with our children. We thank you for the blessed present of our children. We know that everyone has not birthed children, and we know that we thank you for this gift. We thank you for giving us everything within us to train them up, to raise them, to love them, to be a blessing to them so that they can be safe and stable and secure and successful men and women. We come together as a unit of mothers, saying that if one is hurting, we're all hurting. If we lose one son, we lose our son. If we lose one daughter, we lose our daughters. And so today we commit to doing the divine work that is necessary so that we are mothering from a high place, from a healed place, from a whole place, so that not one of our children are lost, that none of our children are infected from our wounds, from our low self-esteem, from our lack of self-love. Instead, we call in divine love, divine peace, divine joy within ourselves and within our children. We stand in our power as women to change and to transform and to nurture those who we come into contact, whether we've given birth to them or not. Today, we take everything that we learned that made our bellies jump, and we continue to receive, and we find the answers within that will change the trajectory of our children's lives. We thank you for this time, and we thank you for this space, God. May you continue to bless us today and remind us that today is just what the world will say is Mother's Day, but just as we heard that every day is our day, that every day let us wake up intentionally saying yes to the assignment of mother. We thank you. We praise you. Amen. Amen.
Amen and Ashe. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Can you tell us how to get your book? I know that we're going to do something special with you, and you and I can talk. And I also, ladies, if you do have questions, post them in Good Girls Gone Goddess under the thread. We'll create a thread, but with her picture, actually, with Coach Kathy's picture. So if you can, Tressa, if you're still here, you can post your question there. But how do we get your book?
You can purchase my book on Amazon. So it is available on Amazon right now. And the title is To Mothers Raising Sons. Good. To Mothers Raising Sons, How to Love Them to Life Instead of Death. And it is available right now on Amazon and Kindle.
All right. So we have good fodder. I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you all on the other side of our work together in our community spaces. Thank you again, Reverend Kathy. I love you so much, and I look forward to connecting with you more personally. Ciao, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
Ciao.
Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
You too.